of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
May I use this peace and blessings be then about your presence?
May this peace and blessings be then about your presence as well.
That question about A.H.A.D, it said that the Muslims have, in their acts throughout the world, they have put a distaste on Islam, where you can go to young people, man, and you mention Allah, and they will curl up, or they will think it means to go out and shoot somebody, rob a bank, blow up a building, or what have you. Now, he said that in its mercy, it gives a timely name, which is A.H.A.D for the Lord of the throne. And it said, and all its names have deeper meanings than what is ever really spoken about it. But just like Allah is Al-Ah, the Ah, A.H.A.D said that between the two extremes of the Ahs, which is the Ah of pleasure and the Ah of pain, is ease. And if you walk in the balance of its covenant, you will stay between those two in ease. But if you go to the extreme right, you'll be fanaticized, or to the extreme left, you'll be cursed or damned and fanaticized. You understand? You got to stay in the balance, in the middle, on that filamentous path, that thin path, in the name of A.H.A.D. So it is giving us something to identify. Some people say they're not Muslim. Yes, we are, because Muslim means that which surrenders to the Lord El. Everything surrenders to the Creator El. Everything. So everything is Muslim. They say, well, you're not believers. Yes, we are. We believe enough to turn away from what A.H.A.D Allah says turn away from, which is the holy house in the east. Turn away from that and turn away from their people, because they have gone astray. And that is only graced as long as A.H.A.D leaves its grace on it. That is only empowered as long as the A.H.A.D Allah empowers it. And they forget and they act as though that can never be taken away. But the evidence is that many holy places of worship had come before it. Where are they now? So in this last day of Muhammad, there's a last day for the Kaaba. In the power of grace and authority of the Lord El. You see? And one of the signs of that is all the horrendous things that happen over there. And if you was to go over there and hang out when there's a time when it's not the time of the holy days and worship and rituals and all, you will be shocked to see some of the things that's happening right in the city. But here we are in the mercy of the Lord to be able to separate ourselves from those of the people of the book that came before us, which includes the so-called Muslims of Islam. It includes them. And they curse me and say Safu Allah and say he can't be of Allah and Allah ain't got no more messages. No problem. No problem. Because the Lord's day and what the Lord is doing, what A.H.A.D is doing is not hinged like a door on them. They can say what they want to say. Just like people say, when Katrina came, and before Katrina came, the Lord said to me, tell the people that I am angry with the African Americans. Tell them that they're going to be damned just like the Caucasian Americans who have gone against me. Tell those who want to annihilate African Americans from their genes that I'm against them, and I'm going to start chastising them and causing them to suffer the same manner that I've been doing to other people in the world. And boom, here come Katrina. Boom, here come tornadoes in black communities, which used to not happen. Huh? Boom. Even before that tsunami, which was significant to what was prophesied about the world being turned off its axis and what have you. Kill up who? Muslims. Significance. Millions, billions. They all in trouble. So it doesn't matter what they believe about me. Huh? If I could find a way out and didn't have to be the messenger and have my peace, trust me, I would have done it. I ain't that in love with all you I don't know. Trust me, I've been gone somewhere else. But the Lord said, no, I command you to do this, that, and the other. You are my messenger. I died when I was a youngster and was left for dead, and there's some people still alive that can attest to this truth. I was left for dead. But what they can attest to is that I met with the Lord again for a second or third time in my life. And it said, no, you're going to live to serve me. And that was about 35 years ago or so, 37 years ago. That you're going to live to serve me. And I have lived to serve it and gone through all my ghetto hood life and seeing people killed in front of me, seeing people fall down dead in front of me, seeing people OD, seeing people shot down, going through the riots, being shot at, going through the hoods, through hood gangs and all kinds that oppose me, through all kinds of people that oppose me, dealing with pimps, gangsters, hustlers, and everything else, and then don't have a scar to show it. Because I've been protected to serve Allah this day. I even had a situation where the jinn inflicted me with something to try to kill me, and that haven't killed me in 25 years. But Allah has taken them out, the ones that did it to me. The particular one, he has suffered, him and his son has suffered very badly. And they have had to live in their sufferings. Doctors. Yeah, but that's Allah. That's the Lord A.H.A.D. Now, what was that other question?
The other question was about the way that people who are in power in the Islamic faith, they tell the people that you can only pray in Arabic, that the Quran
that's
can't
the one
be
I said
translated into
hogwash
English.
too?
Yeah, that's that question.
Hogwash.
And they also say that the people in America can't be rightly guided and can't be truly righteous because we're Americanized.
Okay. Is there any way to say, sit down on your rump in Arabic? I think there is. Is there any way to say, go wash your face and go to the bathroom in Arabic? Is there any way to say, turn this way and pray in Arabic? Is there any way to say, stop killing your brothers, stop killing your neighbors, don't enslave, let people who are weaker than you in Arabic? Is there any way to say the 10 Commandments in Arabic? What is it about Arabic or the Quran that can't be translated? Why would the Lord, in all its power, manifest something so weak that it can't be translated? Because don't tell me it's strong, so strong it can't be translated. No, if it can't be translated, that means there's faults, it's weak. When I say that the Holy Quran in Arabic is universal and its wisdom is infinite, and what it's saying in there, it said long before Muhammad. Might I say tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years before. So why all of a sudden A.H.A.D, Allah, get to a point where it said something that can't be said in any other kind of way? They got angels that can't hear no more. Can't hear everything. It don't have time for no more prophets, no more use for any prophets. It can't see that man is not perfect and still need it for perfection, still need it for as a source of their life, as their being. It then got blind and stupid to a point where it thinks its creatures is self-sufficient. Did Muhammad say that?
I don't think he did.
Because if Muhammad said any of that, I would stand here before you and say, Muhammad was not a prophet of Allah. But I can't say that. Muhammad was a perfect prophet of Allah. Just as all covenanted messengers of Allah are perfected by Allah in their service to it, making them perfect for their job, being the perfect couriers of its word.
All right, with that said, could you tell about, because some people might look at you and see your demeanor, the way you talk, and say, this man can't be a prophet because of
They
his
said that
language.
about Moses. Moses punched some of them suckers in the face, knocked their ass out. And trust me, I'm a lot like Moses.
That's what-
I got spirit and talent of 4 prophets, and it was said that I would have. Jesus wasn't no punk. Don't think Jesus was a punk. Jesus jumped up on top of them tables in the marketplace, started kicking them Jews stuff off the table, cursing them Jews, wanting to fight them Jews, man. They jumped Jesus. They had to jump Jesus. Some of them punk disciples hauled butt. They had to jump Jesus. Took Jesus, put him up on that cross. Jesus said, "Oh, Father, why have thou forsaken me? I didn't know you was going to do this to me. How you let this happen to me?" And the Lord said to him, as it said to him, "I told you to leave Jerusalem and go find my Lord's sheep, but you refused to go." John got this. Now, Christians say, "Oh, Lord, this devil up here talking, how could he say that?" Well, you give me a better answer for it. What was the purpose of John? Just to baptize Jesus? Huh? Because if he baptized Jesus, that's telling you something, ain't it? Yeah. If the Lord came to Elizabeth before it went to Mary and brought John forth before it brought Jesus forth, and then had John tell people, well, Jesus is coming back before he go out, what is that telling you? John before Jesus. Christians know it, but they fight the Baptists. But see, the Baptists, they don't go so deep into the truth. They fall victim to the falsehood too. Because they want power, money, and position and what have you, so they sacrifice their souls. You know, it's a whole lot, man.
Could you tell the people a little bit about your coming to the path from growing up in the cities of North and seeking the guidance and truth from A.H.A.D to the time and experience of your enlightenment?
Whew. That's a good one because, see, most people would think that I was born and raised, grew up hard, and different things happened which turned me to the path, you know, to save my life and what have you. To some, it might appear like that, but it wasn't like that at all. I had a connection that I remember, that I recognized with the Lord before I came to my mother's womb. And while I was in my mother's womb, I had a relationship with the Lord that I remember. And when I was born from my mother's womb into this world, I was fighting and scratching and crying and screaming and begging the Lord, don't let me leave that womb. Because I didn't want to leave it, my nearness to it. And when I came out into this world and turned into this world, the first thing I thought in this life was, oh Lord, oh Allah, you here too. So for me to be born, it was just like going from one room to another. Coming out of that womb was like a door for me. But see, I didn't know what was behind that door, and I didn't want to go there. But when I came out, I was, oh, you here too? Okay, but where are you? How can I? And it gave me my mission right then. First thing it told me is 3 people you have to find. And I set out to find those 3 people. Unfortunately, but fortunately, one of them, I had to go 33 years before I found her. But at the same time, everything was on time, in time, with time. I had all the experiences that I needed to have. I had those 2, the first 2 that I found that I loved so much, and my most favorite people in the world, taken away from me, or taken away from this world, before I completed this mission. And but they had completed their mission with me. You see? And the same is going to happen with the 3rd person, you know. She's going to be taken away when her mission is complete. And it might be before me or after me. I don't know, you know. But then I went about my life, and when I was about 6.5, 7 years old, the Lord came to me. And Gabriel, the angel, came to me and my brother, and reminded me of my mission. And I promised him I would never forget it, you know. And I went right about my way forgetting it, you know. And wasn't reminded of it again until I was about 15 or 16 years old, when I was left for dead. And the Lord came to me and told me again, for the 3rd time or the 4th time, that I would live to serve it. Because by that time, from the womb to that 7th year to the next year, behind that when it came again, and to that time was the 4th time. And it said, no, you're going to live to serve me. And it brought me back to this world after it showed me all my wrongdoings from the time I was born and when I became guilty of my sins. Because there was a time period I wasn't guilty, when I was unknowing and unaware as a little child, running around, toddler and everything. But when I came to a age of reasoning, then I became guilty, because now I know I'm doing wrong. You see? So, by the time I was 19, I had fell in love, man, with Allah. And it's a love that nobody can break, no matter how much those fools run out there talking about astaghfirullah. They don't know me and Allah is in love. And they think they gonna call me a disbeliever? Nah, they hypocrites. They don't love Allah, they love themselves. That's why they won't surrender to Allah. That's why they won't give their life up for Allah. If you truly love somebody, you stand in front and take a bullet for them. You sacrifice yourself. You get more angry about somebody doing some harm to them or trying to do harm to them than you do about yourself. You know, I remember I was growing up in the hood, man, and people could do things to me, but when they mess with my sisters, my brothers, my mother and father, man, I went crazy. That's how I got my reputation, protecting them. And people would have been better off messing with me. Yeah, I ain't messing with him. He's a beast, man. But let me go mess with his sister. Shoot. They should have came to the beast. They could at least been pardoned. You know? But you mess with my loved one, and that's the way people are. That's the way I feel about Allah, about A.H.A.D. People mess with him, and I hate him. Yes, I hate him. For disgracing Allah, for disgracing its name, I should say, for disgracing its word, for running around here acting like they true believers and lovers of Allah and putting Muhammad before Allah and the scholars before Muhammad and the scholars in the books that before Allah's word in the Holy Quran and equaling those books up with Allah's words. I hate them for it. And they run around here talking about astaghfirullah, he's a false prophet. Yeah, right, there's no more to come. Yeah, right, fools. You know? I had a chance to say that they're like they're in kindergarten compared to me being in the university. And they run around here because they can't understand the language. You know, I can read writing, but I can't read reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can take it.
Yeah. I done got angry up here. I'm looking for something to hit.
Holy Apostle, you mentioned that you're in love with Allah and your relationship with Allah is something of that matter, and that you would take a bullet like you would take a bullet for a loved one.
Oh yeah.
You often say that to truly come to Allah and get on the path, you have to die for Allah.
You have to die of yourself from this world. You have to die of your ego. You have to kill yourself, so to speak, You know, but people don't understand that language. You got to be careful when you speak that language, because you got fools thinking they're going to go and die for a cause, and they're going to paradise. Mm-hmm. And they, when they get to the throne of Allah, they find that somebody tricked them. That devil was beautiful and powerful, and they tricked them, and they're going to hell. That's the problem. You got to be careful of the language. Yes, I surrender myself, but like Jesus says, you have to die and become reborn. You have to become like the babes, the infants, innocent. And the only way you're going to do that is to lose all this that you've gained in knowledge and experience in life. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to allow yourself to have that taken from you by Allah to become enlightened. You're going to have to want to go through the fear of going to the Christ, to be crushed, burned, and annihilated and reborn. But you, in order to do that righteously, you have to prepare yourself by your acts. And stop acting. You know, you got people acting, and stop fooling yourself with these illusions that because you like something, you think Allah like it. You know, because Allah lets you escape for a while for the wrongdoings, you think it's all right. When you know your conscience hit you and tell you that's wrong. You know? Oh, man. Keeping it simple. You know? Keeping it simple, man. My reason for being here is not just to talk. My reason for being here is to deliver the message that I must deliver. And to explain what I need to explain, or what needs to be explained for the people. I didn't come down. I'm not here now trying to practice the religion. I am of that way. I live of that way. I breathe of that way. I think of that way. I am of that way. You understand? This, what I have, is for the people that I speak out to. You see? Now, you got, like a brother said to me something about, someone asked him, was he a follower of mine or a disciple of mine? He was like, oh, no, astaghfirullah, I'm not a disciple of his. I wouldn't try to ever take that position and what have you. People get caught up in words. And I said, brother, they just used the fancy word for student. Are you a student of mine? He said, yeah. And you disciple. They just use fancy words to beguile people, man. If you sit under me studiously then and listening, you being a student. I got audience out here, they're being studious. That's students. But I'm not commanding them. Then he said, well, what about following? I said, you can't follow me. How you going to follow me when you don't know me? You don't know where I'm going. You can't see where I'm at. I'm with Allah. You can't see where I'm at. Even though you say you believe, then here comes some doubts. You know what I mean? I'm righteous. People don't understand what righteousness is. That's why they look at me and they look at the way my beard is. They look at the way my hair is. They look at the way I dress, you know, and they say, astaghfirullah, you can't be righteous. They hear me say hell and damn and some other things I be saying. He can't be righteous. As though those things will crush Allah. When Allah created those things, Allah said every one of those profane words. It created them. It gives the meaning to every one of those words. Every situation in life, it gives meaning to it. It gives life to it. And it gives death to it. It gives a beginning and an end to everything. So what is above it or beyond it? Nothing. So here I am, the messenger. Later, brother. May his peace and blessings be with them about your presence. You got a brother leaving, you know, he's sneaking out, he's trying to be respectful of the show and all that other stuff, man. I'm cooling today. But yeah, man, you know, they just take things out of content and they don't and they lose their way. I'm not here looking for followers. That would be wrong of me. You know? Muhammad didn't try to get any followers. Jesus didn't try to get any followers. What they did was try to give you instructions for you to get to Allah. Because, see, they wasn't going back to Allah. I'm not going back to Allah. I'm with Allah. So how you going to follow me there? I'm here already. You know? And I haven't laid out a plan for anybody to do things just like I did it, because to each man is his way. To each mind is his or her way. For every mind, there's a path to it. And every path is different, leading to the same thing. What makes that path different? That different mind. So who gonna follow me there? Now, if I either point everybody to the center, wherever you may be, in 360 degrees times 360 degrees times 360 degrees times 360 degrees, infinity. You come to that center. It can't be the same experience of anybody else's. So we don't ask for you to follow us. You can't follow us. You might try to follow my words in understanding, and if you can do that, good for you. But we call you to try to make your way through yourself, into yourself, to the highest self of your real being, to the Lord El. From your center of thought here to your center of being here and out into your soul, the center of your soul. You know, that's what we call you to, and we can't display it for you. We can only call you by to come unto this by faith. You know, so that you may get right knowledge and right understanding and wisdom, which is divine guidance. You know, in the end, if you right, you say, man, you pound, brother. Thanks. And I'll be like, praise be to Allah, to A.H.A.D, not me. Just like Muhammad and Jesus and all of them said, not me. But people turn around and say, Muhammad, Jesus, Moses, and whomever. No, El. He calls itself A.H.A.D and Allah and Amen and Ra and a bunch of other things.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor to the audience. If anybody has any questions or comments they'd like to ask.
That audience here, that's the same audience that be hanging out with us all the time, that act like they know everything while they so quiet. You gonna get to know them.
I've been in that audience.
If somebody got something to say, right? Where's A.H.A.D? You got anything to say? No? If A.H.A.D don't have anything to say, then nobody have anything to say. That's the smartest one in the crowd. 7 years old up there.
Another question I had is, I talked to you about it the other night. On a previous show, you were talking about the meaning of forgiving, and you said that the for in forgiving and meaning death giving. And you often tell us about the importance of remembering A.H.A.D. And I want to know, if you're not remembering, you're forgetting. And when you're forgetting A.H.A.D, that's when you're most often going astray. Is that forgetting, death getting?
Yeah, you know, A.H.A.D is beautiful in the way it takes its words, because it is the owner of the words, you know. People think man is the owner of words because man configure words, but A.H.A.D is configuring words in their minds, and they putting it out through their hands and giving them authority by its power. And what it has done with many words that's like that, I forget the terminology of those words that sound the same, but it used that as part of its cute game, I could say. And it says that the for is like the F-O-U-R, giving, death giving. And what you saying, what you question about, disobedience, forgetting, it's like death getting. You receive death, because if you don't remember A.H.A.D, Allah, you can't be Muslim or righteous in the time that you are in a forgetful state. So that's a state of death. But I got the signal that we got to get going, and it's been fine, man.
Who want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?